What is up, everybody? We are live, and welcome to another round of live art requests. This time, we are inspired by EPCOT's Festival of Arts. So without further ado, how's everybody doing? And here we go, imagination, woo! And let our imagination go around. Hello, monks, good to see you. What's up, and how you doing? We just got ourselves some figment going while we wait for some people to come on in, just to keep our imagination going. How you doing, monks? Does anybody have any live art requests? Imagination, imagination, a dream, a dream come true. With this spark from you and me, imagination. Woo! Monk says to give you the World Showcase torch. That's right. Here you go, monks. And you know what, monks? You're going to get the World Showcase torch, and we're going to draw your little dinky. Not your dinky, but not the dinky, but the firework boat, so you can be in the lagoon doing luminous. Hello, all Johns. Good to see you. What's up, and how you doing? Dream is a dream. A dream is a dream. With a dream. From you and me, imagination. Woo, let's get into that barge, not. Here you go, monks, just for you. Here's you and your barge going off the luminous right now. One little spark. For you and me, this way, this is how I envision monks starting his day in the EPCOT. Dream, a dream come true. I know it. We're going to give your barge 150 pounds of horsepower, so you can get to the center of luminous even faster. Hello, Chaz. Happy Saturday, and how are you doing? Know what? Let's finish out the Figment song. Why not? Here we go, monks. Captain Monks, take it away. And here is your torch to the EPCOT World Showcase. There you go, monks. After the World Showcase. Whoop. How are you doing, Chaz? Happy Sunday, everybody. And I also know Chaz, and also Chaz, by chance, do you have any Dole Whips that are going off the tree so far? If anybody has any other songs you wish to listen to, let us know, and we can do some, and we'll have some DJ and live art. As long as it's Disney songs. Hello, Lyle, good to see you. What's up, and how you doing? Whoop. Here you go, World Showcase, monks. I'm just not sure why, but the Hollywood Tower Hotel just keeps capturing my attention. Just the more I think about it. So here you go. Here is the luminous barge. I know it. I saw some Chaz. Thanks for warming up the Dole Whip machine. No, just because it's monks, we're gonna have fireworks coming out of his little torch. Whoop! Out of the little torch, I meant. Hello, Stitch Love, good to see you, and how are you doing? Woo! Thanks for warming up the Dole Whip machine. Can't have enough of that. So everybody, let's have a vote. Alright, so I'm curious, so for Festival of the Arts, I do wish that today's theme is EPCOT. Does anybody have a favorite EPCOT character or a favorite Disney character that you think of when you think of EPCOT? That's just a really weird Mickey I just started drawing. Not sure, but I tend to draw Mickey Mouse. I'm not sure, but I sometimes draw Mickey Mouse like Steven from Family Guy, or the dog Pete from Family Guy. So here's my little hybrid of Peter and Mickey Mouse. Why not? Cheers. Cheers to a World Showcase. So this is what happens when you mix Family Guy and Mickey Mouse together, apparently. There you go, Mickey Mouse, Family Guy. So honestly, when it comes to the World Showcase, not sure why, but I always think of the three Calabaras. The three Calabaras. Let's all sing together. La 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 la, I forgot the lyrics. So here you go, the 3 cowbirds in honor of the Festival of the Arts. Oh my gosh, Stitch, I'm expecting good behavior from today. No untying my shoes and no eating the Christmas decorations. Turns out Stitch was the one who actually ate all the Christmas decorations, which is why the Christmas decorations are no longer up in Disney World or the Magic Kingdom. Stitch came on through and ate all of them. Not sure how he does it, but he came in, loaded them up on a sled, and just disappeared. And I also didn't know that before the 3 cowbirds, the ride used to be called the showcase, like the tour of Mexico. Same with EPCOT's Finding Nemo's Living with the Seas. And in the Seas ride, they actually had like an educational exhibit about how marine animals and how marine life lived under the seas, but then it got turned into Finding Nemo. Yeah, same with Frozen. And what I find wild about Frozen is that Frozen used to be the Vikings Norway ride, which actually went through the history of Norway and how it was formed as a country. Now we got Elsa and Anna singing Let It Go. Hello, Joe. Good to see you. What's up and how you doing? Howdy, sing King So Joe. What's up? So has anybody seen Stitch around lately? Running around, doing whatever? So here we go. We got 2 of the 3 cowboys. Not sure why, but whenever I'm drawing the cowboys, I tend to start with the outfits, and then I draw the faces. Also, another thing that got me really excited is that I'm going to be in Disneyland in May, and also in Disney World in May too. So I got double Disney in May. I'll be going to Disneyland to visit one of my friends, and I'll also be going to Disney World for to bring back the Magic Podcast Festival of Friends. So we got ourselves some double Disney going on, which got me really excited. Never thought that would happen, but sometimes dreams do come true, especially when you think about Disney nonstop. I'm not sure why, but whenever I draw the 3rd cowboys, he reminds me of the Kansas City Roadrunner icon. I'm not sure why, but sometimes whenever I see Disney characters, I think of football mascots. Let's see if there's any. All right, Stitch gave us a request. Requesting Stitch and Figment and the luminous fireworks in the background. You asking, I shall receive. So coming right up. Going once, going twice. Here you go. So I'm just kind of curious for everybody. Do you all prefer music in the background, or do you prefer silence? Alright, Cruise Theme Park Guide is asking, where the heck is Donald? That's a really good question. I nearly forgot Donald Duck. Thank you so much for that reminder. So after this, we're going to be drawing Stitch and Figment taking over Luminous. And this is what happens. And I shall show you what happens when you get Stitch and definitely not Leo taking over Luminous. So here you go. And here's the famous Donald Duck. Whoop. I realized that nothing is complete without Donald Duck and Stitch. Oh, I get it now, Cruise Theme Park Guide. The entire ride is like them trying to find Donald Duck, kind of like where's Waldo, but instead it's where's Donald. Hello, Christy, good to see you. What's up and how you doing? Where's Donald, where's Waldo? And if you're curious, here is Spaceship Earth as Spaceship Earth. So now going back to Donald Duck. Alright, Chad says to not have any background music. We got one vote for no background music. Mama Medulla. Beep beep. And what I really love about Disney characters that I would say week after week is that they rely on the S shape. This way makes it way easier and smoother for the animators to be able to draw the characters consistently. Stop. Wait a minute. Uptown funk you up. Uptown funk you up. Whoop, here you go, Donald Duck. Beep beep. Where's beep beep? Where's my magic carpet? I'm not sure why, but when I think of like the three cowbears, and I also think of Aladdin because they both do involve the magic carpet. So Nut, here it is. Stitch and Nut coming up for Amy. Here you go. The ultimate Stitch and Figment luminous takeover. Stitch. I know it. What perfect way to start a fireworks show like this. Hello, Jalen. Good to see you. What's up and how you doing? Right now, we're taking some live out requests, and we got a request to see what would happen when Stitch and Figment would take over Luminous. So this is what happens when you get Stitch and Figment working together. They try to put on like the most magical show on the planet. Well, looks like we are off to a great start. Oops, there goes one cable. Oopsie, there goes one cable. Uh-oh, let's see what happens to the other cable. Whoop. Yep, Stitch is our firework technician tonight. So here we go. Look, nothing can stop us now. Nothing can stop us now. La-di-la-di-la. Nothing can stop us now. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. And also, I do wonder who misses the Alien Great Escape attraction. And I also do miss the Stitch's Great Escape attraction, even though I only got to ride Alien. Even though I only got to ride Stitch once, the Stitch's Great Escape ride once, and I never got to see Aliens versus Predators, which really does stink. Just because I heard it was a great attraction. And another thing I'm really going to miss. Hello, Shell. Good to see you. Another thing I'm really going to miss is the dinosaur ride in EPCOT. The reason being is that when Dinosaur first opened, they literally had a whole slew of special strobe effects to make it seem like you're going through time really fast. Unfortunately, Disney removed the strobe light effects just because it scared family members. Alright, so here it goes. Here goes a barge. Oh no, here goes one luminous barge. And oh no, another luminous barge is on fire. How did that happen? How did that happen? Luminous. Luminous isn't really having the best of nights. Sorry, monks. Looks like we need monks to get over here and to fix up Luminous for us. What the heck is that? What the heck is that? Whoop. Stitchy Stitch. Ah, no. Oh no, who attached fireworks to the barges? No. These things were not supposed to fly. Uh-oh, Monk says, I have 37 minutes. I better fix it quick. Whoop, you got this, Monks. You got this, Monks. Bob the Builder, yes, we can. We got the handy-manny Monks to the rescue. Houston, we got a problem. Capcom. Well, Houston. Well, guys. Astronauts, you got a lot of problems. Yep, you got one rain mold and one problem brewing tonight. Hello, Shell. Good to see you. What's up? How are you doing? Thank you so much, Chaz. That means a lot. If you enjoy what you see tonight, be sure to smash the thumbs up button to keep the party going and to keep the good times rolling. Yep. Figment the firework. What could possibly go wrong now? Just curious. Asking for a friend? Uh-oh. Here goes Figment. Also, what I find really wild is that Figment is like a hybrid of an alligator and a dragon. I just noticed that Figment has the head of an alligator and the wings of a dragon and the horns of an ox. So there you go. The infamous Luminous display. Somebody quick get Monks on that barge. Gotta fix it up. Fix it and flip it before showtime. Oh, there you go. Whoop. So this is what happens when you put Stitch and Figment in charge of Luminous. One little spark for me and you. Woo! That's right, Monks. Run, Monks. Run, Monks, run. You got a lot of stuff. You got a lot of stuff going on. And how is Stitch able to float? Oh, look, he got floaties. Somehow he got to the beach and yacht club and got himself 2 little pool floaties. Oh, thank you so much, Stitch. That's what happens when Stitch tries to run a fireworks show. So if anybody else has any other art requests, please let me know down below. And you know what? Because tonight's your lucky night, it's going to be a very full moon. A full, bright, luminous moon. There you go. Second star to the right, straight on to Neverland. A nice full moon. There you go. And also, Christy said, great interviews recently to Tony. Oh, thank you so much, Christy. I do enjoy interviewing and talking about what it's like being an autistic person in the workforce and how it's like navigating the world, especially when you're very susceptible to being mistreated based off how people perceive you. Hello, Britannia, good to see you. What's up? How you doing? Hello, good to see you. How you doing? Yep, that's right, Amy. The thing about Stitch, you never know what he's going to be doing and where he's going to be doing it, especially when it comes to fireworks shows or anything that's supposed to go on schedule. Also, another thing about Stitch is the fancier and more fancier the event is, the more trouble Stitch is going to get into. But if the event is a casual, laid-back event, next thing you know, Stitch is up there playing Elvis. You never know with Stitch. Oh, it's okay, Brittany on them. You can subscribe right now if you wish to. And let's see. No, let's do an Elvis Stitch. I'm not sure why, but one of my very favorite Elvis songs is from the movie Lilo and Stitch called You're the Devil. You look like an angel, you sing like a devil, and that is so Stitch. That song sums up Stitch in a nutshell. I'm not sure why, but sometimes when I think of Stitch, I think of frozen peas and corn on the cobs. Another thing I've noticed about Stitch is that he's definitely become a character icon of the parks, and you can buy Stitch merch just about everywhere, which I find rather endearing. Just because it seemed like that Stitch came out of left field, where it used to be like Mickey, Minnie, Goofy, Donald, and now it's Mickey, Minnie, Goofy, Donald, Stitch. Rock, paper, scissors, shoe. Rock, paper, scissors, shoe. Rock, paper, scissors, Stitch. Medulla. Oh, I'm really sorry to hear Britannia. Is there any Disney characters that you like me to draw, or any characters in general? Because I do know that sometimes that being distracted or having a distraction really goes a long ways. Oh, what's the kitties' names? Oh, I'm curious, but Diana, what does the cats look like? Hello, Matthew. Good to see you. What's up? How you doing? Right now we're drawing Stitch. Elvis Stitch making some trouble, and we're also going to be doing. I forgot what I lost my monorail of that. Oops. One of my go-to Disney foods that I would love to try is the Tail Rice Krispie treat, which I've never tried, but I've seen it everywhere. And if I was to go to the Festival of the Arts this year, I would try the soft shell crab sandwich, and I would watch all the Disney on Broadway performances. Hello, Andy. Good to see you. And hey, Andy, how you doing? And Andy's like, hello, Tony. Can you please draw the Tower of Terror when you get a chance? Absolutely. That is the bread and butter of this party. The Hollywood Tower Hotel, one of the best things on the planet. And some people say that it's like a lot freakier to think that the dolls on its mold technically grow the hair out. But for me, I adore both rides, so it's kind of a tough call of what one is creepier. I nearly forgot to draw Stitch's ears. What a night. What a night. Mom. You look like an angel. You sing like a devil. I forgot the lyrics, but Elvis Stitch is dancing. And Matthew's asking, hey Tony, may you please draw Mike and Sully? Absolutely. So right now we got the Tower of Terror. Then we're going to get Mike and Sully, and we're going for a good time. So now let's draw the Hollywood Tower Hotel, the one and only Tower of Terror. Hello, Thomas. Good to see you. Because an evening like tonight calls for a very special introduction, especially when it involves the Hollywood Tower Hotel and Stitch. All right, putting on them. I'll definitely be drawing a cat when I'm done. And all right, I do hope that your night gets better, and I'm sending you healing energy. So this is the Tower of Terror, but as Elvis. Tower singing along to Stitch, you know? You gotta have the whole entire ensemble, especially when you got Stitch as the lead singer or guitarist. Hello, Cake Abby, good to see you. What's up? How you doing? Annie says, I would like to visit Florida someday and ride a tower in honor of you. I'll fly Alaska Airlines. Oh, that's gonna be so special. And thank you so much, Annie. I would definitely love to visit you in Florida and ride the Tower of Terror. That'd be absolutely amazing. I almost forgot the little tower's turrets, because a tower is never complete without little turrets, aka lightning rods, hello Cupcake Abby, which keeps like any of the lightning or electrical shocks away from like the ride mechanics themselves. And now here is the Elvis Tower of Terror. Tower by Elvis. Almost forgot its sequences, so there you go. Tower of sequences, bam. Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. So there you go. We got ourselves an Elvis Tower note. Since we are on Elvis, let's draw ourselves an entire. Let's go to Hoshik Bang and draw Mike and Sully as Elvis and a Cupcake Elvis. We gotta have the entire ensemble of Elvises. The hotel. Do you want to know what I did once when I was drawing the Hollywood Tower Hotel? Is I accidentally forgot that I put the word the there, and I ended up putting the word the right there, and I was like hotel, and I was like, what's the heck is wrong with the sign? The Hollywood Tower. Thank you so much, Annie. I absolutely love drawing the Tower of Terror as Elvis. So here we go. Now we got Mike and Sully as Elvis as a ensemble, and Elvis, Mike and Sully. Everybody, let's do the jailhouse rock. Everybody, let's do the jailhouse rock. Somebody, Stitch over there with the trombone. Leo over there with the big bass band. Everybody, let's do the jailhouse rock. Hello, CJ. Good to see you. What's up and how you doing? Thank you very much. We got the Elvis takeover going. I just realized that Mike and Sully don't wear shoes, so unfortunately Elvis is going to miss out on his iconic boots tonight. And I just noticed that Sully has horns. I'm not sure, but I never noticed that Sully had horns before. First time for something. And what I really enjoy about Mike and Sully is just how much they contrast each other. I actually find it really funny how Sully's book smart, but yet Mike tries to sneak through school. I am also wondering, is anybody looking forward to the Monstropolis opening in Hollywood Studios in 2030? Or do you all miss Muppet Vision? For me personally, I'm really going to miss Muppet Vision. I'm really missing Muppet Vision, just because Muppet Vision was the last project that Jim Henson ever worked on, which crushes me so much. Oh, thank you, Cupcake. I'm definitely going to be drawing an Elvis cupcake. Thank you so much, Joe. Sometimes So sometimes when I'm doing artwork, I tend to draw in the order of how the requests appear. I'm not sure, but when I think of Elvis's jumpsuit, I think of a cowboy outfit. I think it's just because of like the rhinestones and just like the curvature of how the rhinestones like a line of like the short cuffs and the collars. He's a rhinestone cowboy. Anybody heard that song before? He's a rhinestone cowboy. And I just noticed something about Mike's feet is that Mike's feet do resemble Stitch's feet. And I also find it really interesting just how many similarities some of the Disney characters have, even though they're technically from very different universes. Oh, and I almost forgot that Elvis has rings, or more like infinity stones, so let's give Mike some infinity stones, why not? What could possibly go wrong with that? And now we got an Elvis cupcake. There you go, a little pompadour, nice and complete. Hello, Robin, good to see you. What's up and how you doing? Oh, thank you so much, Matthew. Yeah, you came just in time for an Elvis cupcake. We got ourselves a whole slew of... hello, Ghost Rider, good to see you. We got ourselves a whole slew of Elvis impersonators. We got the Hollywood Tower Hotel's Elvis, Stitch Elvis, Mike Elvis, Soy Elvis. Oh, thank you so much. Cupcake Abby. Whoop. So here it is, Cupcake Elvis. Well, thank you so much, Ghost, for asking. I'm doing quite well. Just keeping the party going and just living the best day I can. Aww. So if anybody has any more draw art requests, otherwise, you're very, very, very welcome, Cupcake Abby. I'm glad I can draw a cupcake too. So if anybody has any more art requests, let me know. Otherwise, we're just gonna keep adding to the Elvis band. That's awesome, Cupcake Abby. If you don't mind me asking, what games do you play? Hello, good evening, Amusement Park Pirates came just in time for the Elvis ensemble, and also let's wish one of our moderators, Robin, a very, very happy birthday. So everybody, happy birthday, Robin! Woo! Let's see some confetti reactions go flying around. Woo! Heck yeah, happy birthday, Robin! So here we go. We got Steven Tyler from Aerosmith, and unfortunately, Rock and Roller Coaster Aerosmith Edition is going to be closing March 2nd, 2026, which really does gut me because I never gotten to read it, and I never will, just because I'm not a very big fan of inversions or loop-de-loops. The only thrill ride I'm willing to ride is the Tower of Terror. The only reason I ride Tower of Terror is there's no inversions, no loop-de-loops, no sudden hills to climb, and no horizontal windshield. Ghost Rider is asking me if you can draw Snow White, coming up right after Tyler Smith. Steven Tyler. What I find really wild is that Snow White is the very first human Disney animated character, and it actually took them 5 years to figure out how to perfect drawing a human character, just because most of the only animated characters made everybody look like rubber hoses, and everybody And everybody was like, well, our characters look a lot like Flubbo, but they just don't really hit the mark for being in a folding feature film as a human. So if you really want to watch a 9-day comparison, I'd recommend watching the Disney Silly Symphony, Flowers and Trees animated show, and you can see like the princess dancing around. Most people do say that she does look like Rubber Button. When you go to watch Snow White, which was done a year after that was animated, it is a 9-day difference just because what Disney figured out is that the animators needed human references. So what Disney did is that Disney brought in live actors and had everybody filming their dance moves and dialogue. Then the animators would go frame by frame and reanimate what they saw on the film footage. That is how Disney was able to pull off convincing animations and figure out the 12 principles of animations. And also, do you know that the Disney company actually brought in live animals onto the Sleeping Beauty set? Also speaking of animation, do you know that Lotso, the evil teddy bear, was supposed to make an appearance in the first Toy Story? Unfortunately, Pixar did not quite have the technology to animate the teddy bear and all of his hair, so that's why he made an appearance in Toy Story 3 instead of Toy Story 1. Oops, messed up. Oopsies. So there you go. You got Steven Tyler from Ellen Smith. Hello, Lyle. Good to see you. Same here, Brittany. I do love watching Disney videos. And here we go. Let's see what else we got. So right now we're gonna be drawing Snow White next. And CJ's asking, can you draw Minnie Mouse? So alright, so here we go. We're gonna be drawing ourselves some Snow White and then some Minnie Mouse. Cupcake Abby says, I play Fortnite and Call of Duty Black Ops and Minecraft and Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate. Sweet. I tried playing Fortnite. Unfortunately, I couldn't get to load on my. I do play some Minecraft, but I couldn't get my server to load. So, down with Minecraft, down with everything. After I got logged out of my iPad Mini. So bye bye Minecraft. Oh, thank you so much, Ghost Rider. That means so much. So here we go. Let's do. Oh, thank you so much, Matthew. So let's do Snow White and let's do Minnie Mouse. Oh, thank you so much, Brianna. That means a lot. Oh, hi ho. Off to work we go. So this is how I usually go. This is how I usually go about drawing Snow White. I realize that drawing some of the Disney characters is harder than they look, just because of how specific and how fine and delicate the line work is. Another rumor is that people were speculating how the Disney animators were able to get Snow White cheeks so rosy and so rosy in flesh. Someone did come to the hello Richard Kachow. Someone did come to the conclusion that the Disney animators actually used pink lipstick or pink mascara to achieve the blush effect, which I find rather impressive and very, very innovative. And also absolutely huge shout out and huge props to the original animators behind Snow White, just because unfortunately their names not show up in the opening or closing credits. But absolutely amazing to anybody who's able to do frame by frame animation, just because of how hard it is to animate certain characters. As you can see right here, my Snow White is far from perfect, but it's something. And sometimes just because of how particular the animators were, it would take them upwards an hour to animate a single frame. And unfortunately, we don't have an entire hour to animate a single frame. So this is what Snow White looks like when you're kind of drawing her drawing her in a time crunch. Oh my gosh, I messed that up. Oopsies. Yep, Snow White wearing the cone of shame. So sometimes, like, when I'm drawing Snow White's collar, it actually looks more like a cone of shame. Sorry, Snow White. We'll do you justice. So here's Snow White wearing the cone of shame. Oh, thank you so much, Amusement Park Pilot. Really did mess up the eyes, but what's really wild when it comes to Disney characters and the eyes is if you mess up the eyes even by a millimeter, your entire character goes down the ghetto. Oh, that's so awesome, Matthew. I'm glad that I was able to get Snow White done. So next up, we're doing Minnie Mouse. And I also find it really wild just how cold it is in Florida right now and just how cold it is outside. Oh, same here, Ghost Rider. So what I find really wild is that in Florida, when it gets cold, it gets cold. There's no middle ground. It's either toasty or hot, or it's either freezing. It's all because of that humidity in the air, and what humidity does is it traps like the cold. What happens is that the water droplets trap the coldness into the air and give it very little escape. Same with the heat, which is why Florida gets so toasty during the summer months. Thank you so much, Ghost Rider. That means a lot to hear. So here it is, Minnie Mouse. And now announcing whenever I'm in the parks or I have other obligations on a Sunday. But hopefully every Sunday we can keep this party going just as a Sunday night routine. And I actually do enjoy talking to you all on Sunday nights too. It gives me a good start to my week. So I'm curious, Robin, if you don't mind sharing, I completely forgot to ask, but what did you end up doing for your birthday today? MICK by Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. I'm not sure if anybody has actually seen. I wonder if anybody remembers the Disney Junior Mickey Mouse Clubhouse show. That was actually one of my staples growing up. Was the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse show, and like every time I'd go to my neighbor's house, it was a huge treat. Just because my family did not have cable and I could watch Mickey Mouse Clubhouse all morning. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I get to watch Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. It was like one of the biggest treats in my entire life. Was to watch Mickey Mouse Clubhouse all morning, nonstop. Oh, that's so awesome, Robin. Tony, I went out to lunch at a local Mexican restaurant. I spent my evening with my two children, husband, dad, and his wife. Oh, that's so special. Oh, I really hope that your children are doing well. And here we go. Let's see what what else we should draw tonight. I know that there was another request, and sometimes I do miss requests, especially in the chat. So if you have anything that you wanted me to draw, please let me know. Please let me know. Even if you said it, even if you already said in the chat, I could definitely do repeats, and I'm more than willing to draw the same character but do something different. Let's see. Oh, I know that CJL did request something. Let's see what did CJL request. Unfortunately, I'm unable to unlock your request, so if you don't mind putting it back in, that'd be great. Darn iPhone being annoying right now. Matthew's asking, can you draw me, Tony? Can you draw me? Absolutely, Matthew. I can draw you. So here you go. Do you want me to? All right, no. Let's draw Matthew. Let's draw Matthew at the Guardians of the Galaxy roller coaster. So here you go, Matthew. I unfortunately can't get Facebook to open on my other iPhone, but here's what I remember you. This is how I remember. This is what I remember you looking like. Hello, Jalen. Good to see you. What's up and how are you doing? Alright, so here you go, Matthew. The legendary Guardians of the Galaxy. Oopsies. Thank you for your patience, everybody. Sometimes my phone does like the little strange things where it just sits and buffers for a few minutes. You're very, very welcome, Matthew. I'm glad I can draw you outside of the Guardians. And last I heard, you were a technician at the Guardians roller coaster. So there you go. Handy Matthew with all the tools, getting ready to fix up the roller coaster to make it nice and perfect and fully operational. So there you go, technician Matthew at the Guardians coaster. Amusement Park Pirates says, what about you? So I'm curious, Amusement Park Pirates, what ride would you like me to draw you in front of? And did you have an art request that I missed? Oh, you're very, very welcome, Matthew. I do enjoy drawing people in front of the favorite. I do enjoy drawing people in front of their very favorite attractions. Another thing about the Guardians roller coaster is that the exterior starship was supposed to be suspended on its own. Unfortunately, I believe because of hurricane and safety compliances, they literally had to put the starship on its own on a separate mount, just to keep it from getting blown over by the hurricane winds. And also same with Pandora, aka Avatar Land. There was initially supposed to be a banshee suspended on the floating mountains, but because of hurricanes and high winds, they literally had to scrap the banshee just because it was a safety risk and it could fall over at any given moment due to high wind pressure, which really sucked. Just because I would love to see a live banshee sitting on like one of the, I would love to see a live banshee sitting on the mountains. Oop. Amusement Park Pirates says, can you draw my logo? Absolutely. I can draw your logo right after this. And same how Lyle, I absolutely dislike the cold, especially since when you must wake up at 6 a.m. and bust the rock. That's when things get pretty cold. If you get out of work at 8 p.m. and you're on the bus for 2 hours and you get home at 10, and by that point, it's like almost 0 degrees. Oh, I wish you the best birthday ever too, Robin. So here we go. We're going to draw the Amusement Park Pirates. We're going to be drawing the Amusement Park Pirates famous logo, going once, going twice. And I nearly forgot to draw Spaceship Earth and a monorail. Choo choo, nothing can stop us now. Nothing can stop us now. That's the song I sing whenever I think of a choo choo train, including a monorail. So there you have it. The one and only monorail Guardians of the Galaxy Slayer. There you go, Matthew. So here we go, Amusement Park Pirates. Let's draw your logo right after this. This will be my abstract take on your logo. Take me to the ballpark. Take me to the ballpark. We got a bunch of pirates of the Caribbean, not Amusement Park Pirates. Hopefully we can get ourselves some Amusement Park Pirates, not a bunch of like carnival rides. And I just noticed something as I was playing the Figment album. I just noticed something very particular. Look. That's what I just noticed. I can't believe I literally cranked up this album the entire time, and I just noticed that the album cover artwork has the Hollywood Tower Hotel. So going back on subject, we shall draw the Amusement Park Pirates logo. So here you go, yo ho, Amusement Park Pirates life for us. And also Amusement Park Pirates, I did hear that your channel was inspired by the original Pirates of the Caribbean ride, if I'm correct. But if not, please correct me if I'm wrong. So when I draw a logo, I tend to start with a circle. And instead of looking at the text as text, I tend to look at each letter as its own individual shape. This way my hands are a lot more relaxed, trying to write the text out versus me like trying to do it letter by letter. I actually did learn that trick from I actually did learn that trick from the show called Body Art Face Off on Netflix. It is a competition show. It is a competition show where you literally face paint, where you literally see who can do the best face paint. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's like face paint, but for the full body, actually called body painting. And the competition determines who is the best body painting artist. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Jalen, I'm also curious, Amusement Park Pirates, if you don't mind sharing, what draws you towards the original Pirates of the Caribbean? And when I'm in Disneyland, I would definitely be writing the original Pirates of the Caribbean. I also just noticed that at the bottom of your logo, you got a bunch of berries for Knott's Berry Farms, which I find really neat. You do have a Busch Gardens, which is very similar to Knott's Berry Farms. Another thing I like about your logo is that in the center of your logo, it does remind me of like the watercolor fountain and the frozen castle at the same time. And I really love like your space theme with like all your floating berries. I do love seeing floating berries like your little planets. And Matthew's asking, Jalen, do you have a request? Do you have a request, or does anybody have a request? I can do just about any request. So here you go, your fireworks. Whoop, almost forgot your fireworks. So there you go. Amusement Park Pirates, here is your logo. Oh, thank you so much, Chaz. And what's your request, Jalen? I'm really curious. I do love taking some art requests. And it's okay if you don't have if you cannot think of a request on the spot. Totally okay. Oh, thank you so much, Amusement Park Pirates. Woo! Glad you love it. And also, Amusement Park Pirates, if you're around on the 4th week of May, I would absolutely love to meet you in Disneyland. Matthews asked, what do you want Tony to draw? Disney or Universal? I could do either or, green eggs and ham, one fish, two fish, green fish, red fans, stand my ham, on a plane, on a train, whatever you want. That's right, Jalen, we can draw Disney. Lyle's asking, can you draw E.T.? Absolutely. So E.T. phone home. I know that Sierra absolutely loves E.T. And I remember Sierra saying at one point, correct me if I'm wrong, is that Sierra says that E.T. is better than Tower of Terror just because of how most of it is in terms of the sight sounds and the smell. And the fact that you literally go through a pine tree forest. That's what I remember Sierra saying. That's what I remember hearing about Sierra saying about E.T. E.T. Phone Tower of Terror. And definitely, Matthew, I can definitely draw you the Macchio roller coaster at SeaWorld. Did you know that SeaWorld has one of the very few stand-up roller coasters? Do you know that SeaWorld has one of the very few stand-up roller coasters in the country? It's called the South Coaster. And SeaWorld does have at least one family-friendly coaster so the entire family could ride. Unfortunately, I can barely handle Barnstormer at Disney World, so that's a no-go for me. I can't do Big Thunder, I can't do Tron, I can't do Space Mountain, I can't do nothing. Only thing I can do is Tower of Terror, and it's Small World for now. So when it comes to my ability to ride rides, I'm pretty limited. First time I watched E.T. was when I was 9 years old, and I just remember being fascinated by E.T.'s glowing heart. Literally after I watched E.T., all I wanted was an alien, and that's all I would sing and talk about for days on it. Like literally, all I wanted instead of a baby hippopotamus was an alien. So that's what I'd sing about, chant about, and perseverate about. Unfortunately, I never got a baby alien. The closest I came was when I was just sitting there. Between speech session and occupational therapy session, one of my mom's colleagues showed up and was like, "Hey Tony, by the way, I know you've been wanting a baby alien because that's all you've been talking about." I'm like, "Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, absolutely correct." So she's like, "Oh, you see that little toy alien that you're holding in your hand?" I'm like, "Yes, I see it. I'm holding it in my hand right now." She's like, "By the way, if you want an alien, be sure to put it in the water, and they'll grow and they'll come to life. It'd be like Frosty the Snowman, but in liquid form." And that's, I'm like, oh my gosh, I get to have a hybrid between Frosty the Snowman and the E.T. I can ask for a better Christmas for that. So, you know what happened? Any guesses? I was just sitting there. I was just sitting there and waiting for the baby alien to come to life. I just staring and staring and staring. So the next week I came back to the office and I'm like, this alien didn't come to life. And she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Tony, but you had to close your eyes, and it's like Frosty the Snowman and Christmas magic. You cannot be looking." So literally for the entire month of December, I would just get my hopes up every single morning, just like my elf on the shelf. Mike, instead of having an elf on the shelf, I had instead of having an elf on the shelf, I had an alien in a cup of water. So that was that. Hello, Monique. Good to see you. We were just talking about how I wanted an alien after watching the movie E.T. So that's just my little E.T. story I got going. And unfortunately, I watched the E.T. DVD so much that it broke. There was one day where I was getting ready to sit down and watch E.T. I got so excited, I put E.T. in the DVD player. Bam! Guess what happened? The DVD snapped in half just because of how much I overwatched it. And the thingy went kaput. So there went E.T. E.T. phone DVD player. Kaput. Also, another thing about E.T. is, do you know that during the medical scene in E.T. that they literally hired real nurses and EMT doctors just so they could simulate the emergency simulation and make it as accurate as possible. I didn't know that E.T. was directed by Steven Spielberg. That's really good to hear, Matthew. That's really good to know. I'm not sure, but I thought that Tom Cruise directed E.T. for some odd reason. I get everybody mixed up. E.T. phone home. Bam. So here's a E.T. I'm not sure, but E.T. does have a glowing heart, which is a really nice warm touch. And the glowing heart, not sure why, but the glowing heart made me want my alien toy to come to life. Oh, that's so awesome! Wow, that you got to see E.T. in theater. That'd be a dream come true. Never got to see E.T. in theater, which kind of sucks. Now I gotta ride the E.T. ride at Universal before it goes kaput. And Jan, that's can you draw the Makio roller coaster at SeaWorld? Yes, we can. Yes, we can. We can draw the Makio roller coaster at SeaWorld. Coming up right now. E.T. phone SeaWorld. E.T. phone SeaWorld. So here it is. That is so awesome, Wild. That is something that it was a $3 ticket and a $1.50 popcorn drink bucket. These were the days. Long live the days of $5 movies, $1 popcorn. Monique's asking if we can draw Minnie Mouse. Absolutely, we can do another Minnie Mouse. Matthew says Steven Spielberg did E.T., Jaws, Indiana Jones, Jurassic Park, and all these other movies he did. I always forgot that Steven Spielberg was the mastermind behind. Was the mastermind behind the Indiana Jones franchise. Unfortunately, Indiana Jones did not get the warmest reception, which kind of is a bummer. Just because I was hoping for Indiana Jones to wrap up with a really good finale. And yes, I'm that type of person who will run the same joke into the ground for weeks on end. So yeah, I'm a very repetitive person, honestly. And literally, there's times that I make this sitting down and I tell the same joke 5 times because I still find it funny in my head. So there you go. Here's the famous SeaWorld coaster. Bam. Oh, thank you so much, Chaz. And we got another Minnie Mouse coming right up after we get through the Mantis Ray roller coaster. Not the Mantis Ray, but the Makio roller coaster. Unfortunately, I don't know how to pronounce its name. I don't know my coaster terminology, unfortunately. The only coaster terminology I know is E-stop, rollerblade, roller skate, roller track, ride car, control panel, programmable, logic controllers, E-stop. I forgot the rest of the terminology. Come on, iPhone, don't let me down. So now what? A roller coaster is never complete without its marquee sign. This way, the computer knows what right to E-stop. I'm not sure why, but the word E-stop is one of my very favorite words right now. Like E-stop, E-stop, E-stop. Thank you so much, guys. I had an absolutely amazing time making ET magically appear from the ethos. I have not seen ET for quite a time. Of all things, I've never visited the SeaWorld park or studied the SeaWorld universe very much. But I definitely like to visit SeaWorld at least once, especially during New Year's. Just I hear that it's a way quieter park during New Year's Eve, and you don't feel like you're being shoved around shoulder to shoulder. And what I find neat about SeaWorld is that it does have a Sesame Street pavilion, which I'm really curious about since I grew up with Sesame Street too. Oh, thank you so much, Jalen. I'm glad I was able to draw the Marquia 2 roller coaster. Whoop, ka-chow. Mama Medulla. So here you go. We got another mini mask. We got another mini mask coming on up. Going once, going twice. Matthew says, and Steven Spielberg also did Back to the Future with Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd, and Shrek. And what I find really interesting about Shrek is that DreamWorks was actually created out of spite towards the Walt Disney Company. And even though marketing continues to deny this to this day, allegedly, is that the main character in Shrek named Lord Farquaad was actually based off one of the Disney CEOs was based off one of the Disney CEOs that ripped off a bunch of the animators. Hello, Soul Cargo, good to see you. What's up and how you doing? So that's why DreamWorks was created. Was this kind of as screw you, Disney. It's the Minnie Mouse Clubhouse. Oops, wrong next. Yes, I do raise that I'm the person who would tell the same tired joke week after week after week. So sometimes people need to put the E-stop onto my jokes. Oh, whoopsies. Gotta move Minnie up. Oops. Oh, thank you so much. Absolutely, dude. I forgot how much I love drawing E.T. And my other favorite Steven Spielberg character to draw is Shrek. Hey there, you're a rockstar. What really gets me laughing the hardest in Shrek is like the It's Smart party when Donkey into like the kingdom of Lord Farquaad, and literally next thing they know, they get told like they literally can get bombarded by a knockoff version of It's a Smart. And do you know that the Lord Farquaad Smart song it actually has the same key, and it's actually on the same key as It's a Smart. Yeah, so much wild. There's definitely a lot of wild stuff going on in Hollywood, and a lot can happen even in the animated movie industry. That is so wild, Matthew. I remember when they had an animator who used to work at Disney, but he got fired and created his own company, DreamWorks. No, that must have been a lot of inspiration behind Lone Fox Road. Definitely some really wild times in the industry. So there you have little Minnie Mouse, and I almost forgot her ears. Oops. Same with Stitch. There's been times that I literally draw a character and I forget their ears. What a life. Medulla. Another one of my big downfalls is when I'm drawing Disney characters. I tend to draw the ears too tiny, so they have gigantic heads and teeny tiny ears. Good. Oh, thank you so much, Chad. Woo! Matthew says, I love Disney, Universal, and DreamWorks. All. I'm curious, Matthew, but what do you like about Universal and DreamWorks? Alright, so there you go. We got this. We got Minnie Mouse. And our next character is going to be Shrek. Since we've been talking about Shrek, here we go. Alright, Matthew said, can you draw Harry Potter and Hogwarts? Yes, I can. I can draw you Harry Potter and Hogwarts in the background. I've actually not read the Harry Potter books for years, and I'm not drawing Harry Potter for quite some time, so I might need to brush up on this character. Harry Potter, not. I actually, when I was typing in Harry Potter for reference, I accidentally typed in Harry Potter. I'm like, no, it's Harry Potter. There you go, Matthew. Harry Potter and Hogwarts coming right up. So I'm curious, Matthew, what is your favorite? I'm curious, Matthew, but what is your favorite Harry Potter book? Or who is your favorite Harry Potter character in the series? Move. Now, what I find really wild is that there's no Harry Potter immersive experiences quite yet. I do know that J.K. Rowling is allegedly very strict and very strict and very specific about how her IP is used. And what I find really wild is that there was a rumor that went around that J.K. Rowling did not let Universal serve butterbeer without the whipped cream topping, even for people with dairy allergies for years. That's just an alleged rumor. So that kind of shows just how strict she might be with her IP, which I do understand as an artist, but yet it's definitely a very touchy subject. So here it is. Here is Harry Potter Expelliarmus. I'm not sure why, but I'm not sure what it was, but when I was growing up, something about being able to flick a wand and magic happening did capture my imagination. He's like, whoa, what the heck? Harry's like, whoa, what the heck's going on? He's like, well, what the heck's going on with what the heck's going on with this stick thingy? Now it's electrical. Weep. What's going on with my stick? Ah! Psh! Matthew says, why I love DreamWorks and Universal is because I love the animation that Universal and DreamWorks do with their film. And I really got to see the DreamWorks How to Train Your Dragon live action Because what I find really fascinating is that the directors behind the live action series was like, what we're going to do instead of rushing into live action films is we're going to wait to see what works and what doesn't work and how we can reconnect and resonate with our audience. That is why it took years for How to Train Your Dragon live action to finally make its debut in the theaters. I'm curious, Zelkoga, what does Wingardium Tournesol mean again? Wingardium Tournesol? What does that mean again? I'm confused. I have not read the books for quite some time. I used to have an entire 1,000-piece Lego Harry Potter set, but unfortunately, it got destroyed. And that Harry Potter Lego set was kaput. Same with my ET DVD. Not sure why, but something about constructing the ginormous clock in one of the steeples like absolutely amused me. Not sure what it was about the wind up Lego, and the clock tower mechanism got me like giggling really hard. Oh my gosh, so many memories. So there you go, whoop. You got your Hogwarts, and I just remember that the only way to get into Hogwarts is if you take a choo-choo train and a boat. Unfortunately, the Skyliner does not go to Hogwarts. Neither does the monorail or the friendship boat. So there you go. You got your Harry Potter on Hogwarts. Matthew says, "Hello, Alyssa. Good to see you." Matthew says, "Same, Tony. I used to have a Lego Harry Potter set and I destroyed it." You want to know how my Lego set got destroyed? Because I love taking things apart. I love dissecting things, and I love seeing how things work. So I got a little carried away. I shredded the entire Harry Potter castle, and little did I realize that I threw away all the instructions. So Harry Potter went bye bye. So let's see what else we can do. Matthew Soulcalker says he says Wingardium Leviosa as a flying spell. I changed your name. Oh my gosh, so funny. Wingardium Levitate. Whoop. If only we had some pixie dust. That's awesome. I didn't know that you liked Harry Potter, Lyle. I actually have not been really in touch with the Harry Potter fandom for quite some time either. Matthew says, I only watch the Harry Potter movies, not the books. For me, I'm the opposite. I mostly read the books just because my school did have a reading requirement where I was required to read a chapter book a month. So I ended up with like the Harry Potter. So I ended up with the Harry Potter sequel just because it was the only chapter book besides Captain Underpants on my bookshelf. Oh, yes, that's right. Zelkogo says to draw Tinkerbell and Dumbo over that Harry Potter. So here we go. You can fly. Woo! Amusement Park Pirate says, can you draw Ron and Hermione, Tony? Absolutely. I can draw them right here. Bam. There you go. Ron and Hermione, here you come. And definitely we're going to get a Tinkerbell and Dumbo flying over the Harry Potter. Because it's what happens when you start crossing fandoms. And when you start breaking 4th floors, 5th floors in the 5th dimension. I'm not sure why, but when I first started reading the Harry Potter books, I did envision Hermione having really bright red neon red hair, and I envisioned Ron having really blonde hair and a mohawk. That's how I envisioned the characters with mohawks. Ron and Hermione from Harry Potter. Wait, is that not Ron or Hermione from Harry Potter? Wait a second. That's from the Twilight Zone. Matthew's asking, what's your favorite Harry Potter book? My favorite Harry Potter book would be the very first book. Would be if I had to choose a Harry Potter book, the very first book would actually be. Sorry, bye, incorrect Ron. Adios. So, my very favorite Harry Potter book would be the very first book, just because that was like the very first chapter book that I managed to read, which I actually felt like it was a huge accomplishment. That was many moons ago. Ever since then, I moved on to Calvin and Hobbes, Gilbert, Zitz, Pose Before Swine. And I've also moved on to Gilbert too. Also, long live to Gilbert Otham, an illustrator who did pass away at 86. So I'm curious, Lyle and Matthew. Why do you like what makes Hagrid your very favorite character? I didn't realize that the Sorcerer's Stone was the very first book. I thought the very first book was something about Gryffindor and Griffins. I didn't realize that there was a name difference. Lyle says over in England, the first book was called the Philosopher's Stone, but in America it was known as the Sorcerer's Stone. I wonder if there was a name change because of copyright reasons or restrictions. So here you go. This is what happens when they see Dumbledore flying over overhead. So here we go. We got themselves Dumbledore flying elephant. That's really good to know, Lyle. I didn't realize that it had nothing to do with copyrights, and J.K. Rowling wanted it that way. Hello, Felix. Good to see you. Felix says, good evening, Tony and Disney Pals in the chat. I hope everyone is doing well tonight. And heck yeah, woo! We're doing very well right now. Right now, we're going to be drawing Dumbledore flying elephant, making an appearance. Dumbo's a flying elephant. Bill Nye, the science guy. Bill. Oops, wrong franchise. Yeah, sometimes I get my franchises a little mixed up at times. One moment, everybody. Dumbo the flying elephant is loading in 3, 2, 1, ignition. Come on, iPhone, do your magic. Don't be let down yet. Hi, Patrick. How you doing? Woo! Bright suns, bright moons, Tony and all chat as well. Viva Las Vegas! Bright lights in the city sky. Allegedly. So here you go. Dumbo the flying elephant. And also what's really wild is that Dumbo was like one of the very first 3D characters that I actually created in 3D animation. It didn't go over so well, but yeah, I ended up switching majors to digital design. I'm not sure why, but sometimes when I draw Disney characters, I tend to either add too many lines or too few lines. It depends on my mood. Or my mess ups. One of my very favorite rides to ride in the Magic Kingdom is the Dumbo the Flying Elephant ride, followed by Aladdin's Flying Carpets. Then I also really enjoy riding. It's a Small World if the line is not too long, and Tower of Terror. So if I had to rank my favorite Disney rides right now, my favorite ride would be It's Small World, Tower of Terror, Dumbo the Flying Elephant, Mission Space Orange, Aladdin's Flying Carpets, Teacups, Winnie the Pooh. How you doing, Patrick? The Hollywood Tower Hotel. And also, Felix, have you seen Tower of Terror lately, or any tower sightings? Matthew is asking if you can draw Soarin'. Absolutely. I'll be drawing Soarin', especially since it does go with Food and Wine. And what I find wild is that Soarin' Across the Road is getting switched out to Soaring Across America in July 2026, which is why the wait times have ballooned, just because everybody's seeing the very last of Soaring Across the Road. You know what's really wild is that the moment that Disney announces a ride closure or change, people storm that ride as if it's the last thing they're going to be riding. I'm also guilty of that too. Whoop, there you go. Here goes Dumbo. Ka-chow. I just noticed that Dumbo has eyelashes, and that's why I got a C- on my 3D Dumbo project, just because I forgot to include his eyelashes and his whole head was out of proportion. So here we go. We're gonna be drawing what Soarin' looks like, what I think Soarin' looks like. Not bed cells, Soarin'. Somebody once told me that somebody once said, "Hey Tony, aren't you gonna be riding the ride called Bed Cells?" I'm like, no, that's Soarin' Across the Road, not Soarin', I forgot where I was going with that, but Soarin'. So when I think of Soarin', I think of a disc, and I think of a chair. And I think of like a thingy that stores your luggage. So this is where your luggage stores. Just like in Hollywood Tower Hotel, where you store your luggage under your seat. A hand railing. Somebody screaming. Somebody's screaming, thinking that somebody's screaming because they mistake someone with the Tower of Terror, and instead of dropping, they're flying. And somebody's shoes flying off. So yes, this is my interpretation of Soarin'. Looks like somebody needs to tie their shoes. And this is what happens when you ride Soarin'. Oh, thank you, Felix. I really miss the Hollywood Tower Hotel so much too. So that's why whenever I'm in Disney World, I would literally go to the Hollywood Tower Hotel and just sit there for 8 hours in front of the Hollywood Tower Hotel and not do anything else. And that's why when I was streaming like New Year's Eve in Hollywood Studios, I sat outside the Hollywood Tower Hotel, just admiring the sights, just being with the hotel, and I'm like, that's the kind of. So I basically was thinking like, yeah, I'm just going to stream the way that I enjoy seeing Hollywood studio streams, which just consists of somebody with a gimbal and a camera standing in front of the Hollywood Tower Hotel the entire time and doing nothing else. Just kidding. So that's my approach to Hollywood. That's my approach to streaming Hollywood Studios. Just sit outside with a gimbal and your tripod and a bowl of French fries and just talk about the Hollywood Tower Hotel the entire time. And yeah, I know it's kind of a dried up, boring joke, but that's how I like streaming Hollywood Studios. Is just doing one thing the entire time. So here you go. Here's Soarin'. This is what happens when you mistake Soarin' for Tower of Terror and vice versa. Hey, and let's draw somebody mistaking Tower of Terror for Soarin'. This is what happens when you mistake the Tower of Terror for someone. You get really, really, really sad because instead of seeing the road, you're stuck in a really dark and drabby drop shaft. Someone through the drop shaft. And Robin's asking, hey Tony, have you drawn a tower yet? Yes, I've actually drawn Elvis Tower. So if you're curious, here's what tower looks like. There's Elvis. Whoop. Viva Las Hollywood. Bright lights in the city sky. Viva Las Disney. So this is someone through the drop shaft. And this is dropping through the road. So it'd be a really great attraction is if there was a way to combine Someone and Tower of Terror together. And instead of going through the scenes, instead you'd be launched and dropped, and each time the ride doors open, just like in Mission Breakout, you would actually get to see a very beautiful scene. So that is what happens when you combine Tower of Terror and Soaring Across the Road. Would anybody write out any takeaways? I really do hope that Disney does dropping through the road. Because I definitely love to be launched and dropped all over the road. And each time the doors open, and just like in Sun, they would actually spray a really unique scent. Oof, coughs really suck. So coughs really do suck, and I can definitely and it just sucks just to have it to drip too, which is absolutely no fun, especially when you're trying to sleep. Matthew's asking, can you draw Michael Jackson, Captain EL? Woo! Long time no see Michael Jackson, Captain EL. I wish I got to see that show at least once, but unfortunately, it was past my prime. Another thing that was really interesting about the Captain EO show is that people will really mix about them casting Michael Jackson, just because people always assumed that Michael Jackson had a very quiet voice. I understand so cargo that you can handle the hills and coastals, but not the elevator style drops. I am the exact opposite. I can do elevator drops, roller coaster hills. Nope. That's why I can't even do Barnstormer or anything of that substance. Not even Big Thunder Mountain. And no way Jose for me on Tron and Everest in Space Mountain 2. Robin says, how about Goofy Max? Know it. Let's do Captain EO, Goofy, Max at the same time. Why not? Let's have the whole shebang out there. Also, another really fascinating thing about Captain EO is that Michael Jackson would actually show up to his Captain EO showings disguised as a tourist, so nobody would recognize that as him, and he could see the audience's reactions. Same with Walt Disney too. When Walt Disney was alive, he would actually go to Disneyland, hunch over, and see how people would react to his park, just as a pedestrian. And I do feel that it would be way harder to disguise yourself as a celebrity these days due to social media and people have really keen and quick eyes, and the internet is also a hive mind. So if somebody picks up on something, it's all over Reddit, all the social media platforms within minutes. Yes, he did have a really, really quiet voice. And I'm curious, so Cargo, what are your video ideas? If you don't mind sharing. If you don't feel comfortable sharing, it's totally okay. So when it comes to Captain EO's outfit, this is my best guess to how it looks like, just because I can't get a very clean image of it. So this is my artistic interpretation of it. Oh yeah, and his infinity belt too. He does have a bunch of infinity stones today, because Captain EO is never complete without infinity belts and an infinity stone. Oops, yeah, I almost forgot to show you his shoes. So here you go. The one and only Captain EO, which does remind me of Elvis in a really good way. So now what? Since we have Captain EO, what about Goofy Max? Goofy Max, the Goofy Max coming into the rescue. I have not seen of all things, I have not seen the Goofy movie before. I've never gotten to see a Goofy movie before. And Robin says, I can hear the picture of Michael Jackson being hee 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 hee. Oh my gosh, I can't unhear the hee 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 hee. Hello Timothy, good to see you. What's up? And how are you doing? You came just in time from the Goofy Max Captain EO spinoff. One of the people who I would love to meet is the voice of Goofy. I know that if you get really lucky, the voice of Goofy would actually give you a FaceTime call and would come on and talk to you like Goofy if you get really lucky at a Disney Expo. Yep, Michael Jackson be looking bad. I'm bad. I got a copyright strike. I'm bad. Hey. Medullas. So here you have it, a Goofy and Max with Captain EO. Because Engineer Goofy is up to saving the galaxy today. Who knew that Goofy had so many talents and so many capabilities, especially when it comes to intergalactical space and railroads. Yep, Goofy, more like Goofy EO. And not, I almost forgot, but Max. Yeah, but here we go. I almost forgot, but Max. Yeah, but we also got to have Max EO. Captain EO and Max EO. Lyle's like, I also do believe that he voiced a lot of other characters, but I can't remember which ones. And also Lyle's like, Robin's also be like, Walt Disney also did Minnie Mouse's voice and Hercules House Call. I didn't realize that Walt Disney did Mickey's and Minnie's voice. Walt was definitely a jack of all trades, especially when it comes to acting, business, and character voices. I do wish that I got to meet Walt Disney. I honestly do wish that I got to meet Walt Disney because he was definitely a legend. And I'm also just really curious about how somebody has such a savvy business sense. Honestly, for me, when it comes to creativity and business, that does not go together in my mind. And I also have like absolutely no business sense whatsoever, which is why I'm always impressed by Walt Disney and his ability to market and to persuade the public. And unfortunately, don't have none of that. Especially when it comes to marketing myself as a creative. Fizz is asking, what do you know about Penelope Soup? Who is Penelope Soup? Oh my gosh, Robin, oh my gosh, oh my. Goofy never thought Max's slouching was bad pasta. Max is always like slouching. And also, do you know that there was like a parade called Mickey Mania back in the 80s? Where they literally had a bunch of like Mickey Mouse themed floats and balloons. However, during the parade, they had Goofy and Max, and they also had featured Roger Rabbit. Unfortunately, during the Mickey Mania parade, what happened is that Roger Rabbit and Max would have a voice exchange, but unfortunately because Disney lost rights to Roger Rabbit, they literally removed Roger Rabbit from the parade, and they only kept Max, which was really gutting, especially for somebody who is fascinated by the Roger Rabbit animations and the fact that Disney was able to keep the Roger Rabbit cartoon spin ride, which is really impressive. So what I find interesting is how Disney lost the rights to Roger Rabbit, but was still able to maintain the ride. And what I find really, really wild is that when Bugs Bunny and Mickey Mouse appeared together in the Roger Rabbit movie, they literally had to sit down and say the same amount of lines, and they could only appear on the screen for the same amount of time, which is a very rare sight to see Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny combined. Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. So Cargo, I would love to see your Goofy picture. I don't think I've gotten to meet Goofy. I don't think I've gotten to meet Goofy more than once, but I would love to see your Goofy picture. I'm also very impressed too, Felix. Robin knows all of us stuff. Yep, we got the invasion of the Goofies, and Captain EO is never complete without at least one of his pals. I'm not sure, but when I see this alien, I think of Bing Bong from Inside Out. Once I saw Inside Out, I can never watch Captain EO in the same way before, because when I see like, the elephant, all I can think about is Bing Bong. Of all things, I've not gotten to see Inside Out 2, which is like on the top of my watch list. So the next time I have access to Disney Plus, the first thing I'm watching is the Tower of Terror, Behind the Attraction movie, and Inside Out. One of my very favorite Disney movies is the 1997 Tower of Terror movie because it was like the very first movie that was based on the theme that Disney did, based on a theme park ride, despite everybody thinking that it was the Pirates of the Caribbean, just because Pirates in the Caribbean had the most attention. And I also didn't know that Scarlett Johansson is creating a brand new Tower of Terror movie, which I'm actually really hyped up, which I'm like really hyped to see at some point. Yep, if you're curious, I not. Robin says, Rapunzel, let down your hair. And we got ourselves a Rapunzel Bing Bong combination coming right up. Do you know that Rapunzel outdates Disney and originally appeared in the Grimm's fairy tale series? Love is an open door. Oops, is that the wrong franchise again? Love is an open door. Love is an open door. Captain Goofy and crew. Rapunzel, let down your hair. Can you please let down your hair from the 13th floor so that you can fly, so that you can swing us down to the Twilight Zone? You know what would be a really fun drop tower ride? Is a Tangled themed drop tower. When instead of dropping through the Twilight Zone, you actually drop through the entire story of Rapunzel as you're basically holding on to Rapunzel's hair and swinging through and singing and swinging through the drop shaft. Speaking of which, there's actually gonna be a Marvel themed drop tower in Shanghai, and like Shanghai Disneyland opening pretty soon. It's actually gonna be part of like one of the Marvel campuses. So instead of doing drop tower, Disney is actually gonna be doing a Marvel themed Spider-Man drop tower where Spider-Man must save the day, and it will definitely. And I do hope that like it involves like a motion simulator of the Resistance, and to make it way more immersive. Oh, thank you so much, Zoe Cargo Alex, for the photo. Someone's asking, have you ever seen the big gigantic Roger Rabbit at Pop Century? I didn't know that thing. I didn't know that giant Roger Rabbit. Bing bong, who you going to call? Bing bong, who you going to call? Oops, is that Ghostbusters? Ghostbusters! And I also just realized that Frozen is one of the very few Disney animation where the princess, not the princess, but where the protagonist does not get married. I'm also really hoping that there's gonna be a lot more animated movies in the future, like Princess and the Frog and the 2011 Winnie the Pooh. I find it really wild that the Princess and the Frog movie came out like nearly 20 years ago. So here you have to take the Rapunzel thinking about letting down her hair to the 13th floor into the Twilight Zone. So yep, Rapunzel's hair is so long that got caught into the Twilight Zone. Hello, Galaxy Dude. Good to see you. What's up and how you doing? Who are you gonna call? Who are you gonna call to Tony to draw Ghostbusters? So yep, this is Rapunzel getting out. This is how long Rapunzel's hair is. It just got through the 5th dimension. You have now entered the Twilight Zone. You're now into the land beyond shadow and substance, a land beyond imagination. You're now crossover into the Twilight Zone. There you go, the Twilight Zone. It's raining, it's pouring, rain, rain, go away. Come back another day. And here we go, the hallway scene. Because Rapunzel's not complete without the hallway scene. Go, the hallway scene. Aww, the Olaf scenes are so adorable. Some people are definitely love modern film, especially in summer, and especially when it's negative 13 degrees and you have to take your bus to and from work. Good to see you too, Galaxy Dude. It's been a long time. So do you have any art requests? Because otherwise we're gonna be doing Bing Bong. And that's the price tag. I also do wonder, did Bing Bong ever return? Alright, team. Matthew said, can you draw the all-star music result with Chip and Dale? Robin said to draw Chip and Dale. So alright, here we go. Going once. We're gonna have ourselves an all-star music result with Chip and Dale and inside the Star Wars. Robin's asking what section of the all-stars music result? Since there's 3 sections. I also just noticed that Bing Bong does have a heart-shaped trunk. All of the all-star music, you got it. Your wish is my command. I just noticed that Bing Bong has whiskers. That was my first time to notice that he actually does have whiskers. Yep, it's all stars, all of the star results. And Chaz says, it's definitely one of my favorites. I'm curious, Chaz, what do you like about the All-Stars result? I just noticed that the characters in Inside Out also have 5 fingers, which do surprise me. And I also noticed that most of the Pixar characters, because of the computer capabilities and the automation and the animated automation, they actually have, most of the Pixar characters, they do have 5 fingers, which does surprise me. And I also find it really fascinating that Bing Bong is made out of cotton. Medulla. So here you have the Bing Bong. Bing Bong, Bing Bong. Here we go again. Boop. So here we go. Alright, so here we go. We got ourselves chipping down at the off. Hey there, you're a rock star. I've actually never stayed at the I've never gotten to stay at the All Stars Music Resort perform. And I do wonder what do you all like about it? and what I find really fascinating about All Stars is for making help from just a picture alone is that it's themed after the 1970s, which almost happened 50 years ago. And another really wild thing is that the jukebox intro, that the jukebox definitely reminds me of a 1960s jukebox, which also ran over vacuum tubes, just like a CRT television. I'm not sure why, but sometimes I mistake jukeboxes as a Royal Eagle slot machine just because of the similarities in shape, and it does remind me of and jukeboxes do remind me of really old school coin operated slot machines that did not have any electrical components. That's good to know, Matthew. That is like one of the cheapest resorts, which is why it's likely very popular for a budget, and that's why when it comes to All Stars, if I ever do stay in a resort, I would stay at the budget resort just because I do apologize for the lag. Sometimes the internet goes whoop whoop, especially when it starts getting a little windy outside. Anybody, can you all see and hear? Hello, anybody at home? Good morning, good evening, whatever time it is. And we are back, stronger than ever. I'm glad that you can hear me, and I'm glad to hear. Thank you everybody for refreshing, and thank you everybody for your patience. Just because of how rotten and stubborn the internet can be, especially when everybody starts turning on the devices and starts living it up on the television. Unfortunately, Netflix and YouTube don't really go together. Jacob's asking if you have Facebook. Yes, I do have Facebook. My Facebook account would be Tonio. My Facebook account would be Tonio Tao. Just Tonio Tao. My Instagram is Tonio Tao too. So here you go, Chippendale rocking it at All Stars at the All Stars resort. So here you go, Chippendale, living it up. Are you able to see? Are you able to see and hear? And also another thing is sometimes the internet goes out randomly and goes wah wah wah. It's kind of like a slot machine. Sometimes we get a 5-star broadband. Other times we get a 3.5 Motel 6 internet. Thanks for letting me know, Jacob. I'll look for your message. How much of a... Alright, so Felix says, Robin Chaz, I think the other animation result would be the ideal perfect result, especially for a talented Tony to stay outright. He probably enjoys saying that so much. Oh, thank you so much. I love saying that. And Robin's like, but have you seen the price of that circle? Good question. Well, it would definitely require me winning the $10,000 grand on Dragon Link or the Mega Million. Not a chance. If I was to win that Mega Million jackpot, I'd definitely be staying at Autumn Animation and staying all over the Disney World Resort for at least a few months of my life. This way I could wake up and see the Hollywood Tower Hotel nonstop, and I'd have an endless supply of Tower of Terror. One of my dreams is to stay on the Disney Resort for a month and not even go to the parks, so I can just go outside and just sit in front of the Tower of Terror, sit in front of the backside of the Tower of Terror and just look at it. That'd be a dream come true, just to spend a month just doing that nonstop and have remote work. So here you go, you got yourself some rockstar Chippendales, thinking about the Hollywood Tower Hotel and just sitting out there nonstop. Oh, thank you so much, Matthew. I really do enjoy myself. Some Chippendale and Rockstars. And it's wild just how much Autumn Animation is. What about Pop Century? And ironically, I do find that some of the budget results have the absolute best theming, which I absolutely love, because sometimes appearances can be really deceptive. So here you go. Let's rock and roll, everybody. So I realize that's been going on for quite some time. Does anybody have one final art request? If you do, please let us know, and we do that final art request. If not, we will see you next Sunday. Rinse and repeat. Woo! That's what I love about Pop Century. Just thinking about that. What I love about Skyline Resorts is I can get on Skyline and I can be at Hollywood Studios within minutes. So I can be looking at the backside of Hollywood Tower Hotel. And yes, there's been days where I'm in Disney World and I don't have a pass to go to the park. So I just sit outside of Hollywood Studios and I just sit down one spot. But if I ever get thirsty or need to go to the bathroom, I get onto the Skyliner and I go to the Caribbean Beach Resort. And then I go back to Hollywood Studios and I rinse and repeat it all day long. Amusement Park Pirates, I can definitely draw you Snoopy. Heck yeah, woo! Snoopy is definitely a really underrated character. And what I find really wild about Snoopy is just how deceptively simple Snoopy is. Because when you draw Snoopy, Snoopy has such few lines that if you mess up a single line, you mess up your entire Snoopy. Same with Charlie Brown, which is why Charlie Brown and Snoopy are ridiculously tricky to animate. So I'm curious, question for anybody? So my question is, has anybody sat inside? Oh, I can do Charlie Brown and Snoopy combined. Got it. So I'm curious, has anybody gone to Disney World just to sit in front of one single object the entire time? So when I go to Disney World, I like to go to Disney World and just look at the Hollywood Tower Hotel for an entire day. Has anybody done that where you just go to the park or go outside of the park just to look at one object? Matthew says nope, never done that. Totally understand, it's not for everybody. Oh. That's awesome, Robin, that you go to hang out with your people. I enjoy doing the same thing when people are all around to hang out. Usually people are not around to hang out. I just go and I just hang out in front of the Hollywood Tower Hotel all day. Even if I don't have a park mission, I just go to the Hollywood Tower Hotel and just sit there. I just sit at the backside. I sit at the backside of the Hollywood Tower Hotel, and that's basically my entire day. Only time I get up to leave the Hollywood Tower Hotel is if I'm getting a meal, need to go to the bathroom, or need to get some H2O. That's the only 3 exceptions. Other than that, I'm just sitting in front of the tower and doing nothing else. Yep, that's right, Cruising Theme Park guy Tony is telling the truth. And I can't be no father but the truth. Oh my gosh. You just busted me, the truth. You just busted me because I'm telling the truth. Oh my gosh, oops. Hello, anybody here? YouTube froze. So I'm just laughing so hard right now. Oh my gosh, yeah, I'm just laughing so hard right now. Because yes, that's what I do. I go to Hollywood Studio. I just sit down and I just look at the Hollywood Tower Hotel. And I just sit down for 8 hours solid. Nothing else. No rides, no lightning lanes, no much new stuff, no souvenirs. Just stare. More and more. It never gets old. Never miss a beat. Just stand for the Hollywood Tower Hotel. Unfortunately, I've not found anybody who wishes to spend a Disney day doing that the entire time. The entire time that Disney, just go to Disney, just sit in front of one thing the entire time. And CEO did mention, I believe from Olio, saying that Tony does not go to Disney to go to Disney. Tony goes to Disney to see the Hollywood Tower Hotel, which happens to be surrounded by Disney. So yes. So here's Charlie Brown and Snoopy all. So yes. Thank you so much, Sia, for writing Mission Breakout and imagining that was taught. So when you write Mission Breakout, always be sure to close your eyes and imagine how wonderful it used to be. The hallway scene, the ghost, the not the 13th dimension, but the 5th dimension, the Mias, the Twilight Zone theming. And when you write Mission Breakout, it's best not to everything about a single superhero. This way, you will never miss the tower, even though deep inside, you miss the tower and its glory. And you just begin to wonder, why did they take out the Holly out of the Hollywood Tower Hotel and put the Guardians in the Galaxy? So does anybody have any last thought requests? Otherwise I do have to get going just because of the time. And also if you haven't already, please be sure to smash the thumbs up button and subscribe to Tony Hotel because every week would be, because you never know what you're going to get, and you never know what's going to be coming up next Sunday. So be sure to smash the thumbs up button and subscribe to Tony Hotel. And also stay tuned because we got ourselves double Disney in May. We got ourselves Disneyland, then we got ourselves Disney World. Double Disney days. Who's up for that? And the Hollywood Tower Hotel says, thank you everybody for being here. And may the Twilight Zone be with you. Matthew says that he wrote in Mission Breakout. How do you like Mission Breakout? And thank you so much, Amusement Park Pirates. I've had an absolutely amazing time. It was such an absolute pleasure being here with everybody. Thank you so much. And also every Sunday, be sure to come on back because you never know what shenanigans we're gonna be getting into, and you never know what we'll be doing, what art you'll be seeing there. So thank you so much, CC. Thank you so much. We're wrapping up for this Sunday, but we will be back next Sunday, same time, same thing, and we'll see you around. So thank you everybody for being here. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful week, and I hope you have an absolutely lovely rest of your weekend. So see you around. Thank you, Amusement Park Pirates, and once again, happy birthday, Robin! Woo! Happy birthday! And see you everybody. Have a great night. You too, Monique. Have a magical night. And you too, Robin. Have a blessed night too. Everybody, see you around. See you real soon, Layla. And like Disney says, it's not a goodbye, it's a see you real soon.